But there has been, I know when it comes to contraceptives, it's a very tricky conversation.
Very.
Because not all of them actually work.
Yes.
And there's been women who had walked into a doctor's hospital and said, you gave me this contraception. You said it would work.
Very good morning to all our listeners. Today, I know everyone's expecting to see Chill with Manny, but unfortunately, I am taking over. For those who don't know, I go by the name of Yaz. So I think I've been here for a couple of shows as a guest, but today I am your lovely host. So just to begin with, I'd like to just wish all our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters a very happy Ramadan Mubarak. And I know it's day 3 of Ramadan, so and the weather's been a bit, but I think everyone's still in very much, in the Ramadan festivity mood. So just a Ramadan Mubarak to all our fellow Muslim listeners. And for today, for our topic, we're going to be talking about cryptic pregnancy. But before we get into it, I will just reintroduce myself. I go by Yaz, and I'm not here by myself. I have a guest with me who I will allow to introduce herself.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be co-hosting this flight with Yaz. My name is Halima, and I'm quite new into the space, but it's not unfamiliar territories.
Yes.
So it's something that I'm comfortable with, and I'm hoping that at least it'll be a nice ride that we get to enjoy with the music, with the conversation we're going to have. And again, I do want to wish all our Muslim, my fellow Muslim listeners, a wonderful Ramadan, and I hope it's going to go strong. I know the first few days are a bit tricky.
Yeah.
Because we're still trying to get into the swing of things, and then eventually we get the handle of it on week 2. But I hope it's going to be a beautiful one, and the weather is allowing.
Yeah, the weather is definitely
really
allowing. Definitely allowing. So for today, like I said, we're going to be talking about cryptic pregnancy. This is the year's takeover. It's not Chill with Manny, so a bit more of the female type of topic for today.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what cryptic pregnancy is, so I'm not sure if you'd be familiar with the show I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant from TLC. If you've watched that,
I think on the days when you don't have nothing to watch, that's the one thing. It will probably come up at the most odd times of the night. Yes, everyone has seen that.
So cryptic pregnancy is a pregnancy, or rather a stealth pregnancy, when a person doesn't know that they're pregnant, and they usually only find out either when they go into labor or when they already a few months into the pregnancy.
Scary.
So yeah, that's really scary stuff. I for one would have never been, I don't know, if that had happened to me, I don't know how I'd take it. I know of someone personally that I work with, who also didn't know that she was pregnant up until 5 months into
5 months.
5 months into her pregnancy. Only then did she actually realize that, hey, I'm actually pregnant. And she had no idea. Her stomach wasn't showing. She didn't gain any weight. Literally no symptoms of pregnancy whatsoever. Even with her menstruation cycle was still continuing as per usual. But then within the 5th month, she started getting cramps or whatever, goes to the doctor thinking that there's something wrong, only to find that no, there's a little something inside.
That is scary.
Yeah, I know, it's really crazy. At least for her, she was able to find out within the 5 months. I've read different stories and stuff of other women who literally found out when they were going into labor.
And they didn't even know it was labor.
They had no idea. She literally woke up having cramps and, feeling back pains and all of the stuff, and she thought that maybe she was sick, or maybe it was something that she ate. Maybe it was food poisoning or something of that sort, only to find that she was giving birth and that she was pregnant. No weight gain, no symptoms of pregnancy, nothing of that sort.
She didn't even go through the first 3 months where you get nausea.
No, nothing. So none of I'm not sure what causes it per se.
Yes.
Or how it comes about that, they don't get the symptoms and everything continues as normal. I genuinely don't know how that happens. But in most cases, they literally found out way later in the stage of pregnancy.
Could it be something, maybe that's genetic, that maybe within your genes that it's possible that you could be become one of those women who have a cryptic pregnancy? Because if that's the case, then at least if you knew from before, maybe your mother, your grandmothers before who had gone through it, or one of them had gone through it within a family, then it's a possibility. That would make much more understanding. I think that would actually help you prepare yourself emotionally to say that I could possibly be one of them. But if it's something where it has nothing got to do with genetics, it's really scary.
Okay, but the thing is also, if it is somewhat genetic, because with genetics, it could be a thing of fine, maybe your family had it, or maybe you're the first of the family to have it, and now you're the one who's going to carry it on for everyone else. Type of thing.
Fun.
So it's like a 50-50 thing. So either it was in the family, and yes, fine, everyone else did have it, or otherwise, listen, you're the first one that was picked, and now here you are in this predicament, and now you need to,
It starts with you.
exactly, because it starts with you, and you don't even get the time to prepare for it. Like your family didn't get to throw you a baby shower, your friends didn't get to do like a little something gathering to say, congratulations, or even you're not even anticipating getting a baby.
So you're not even prepared.
Like you were not even trying to have a baby. You
Exactly.
literally not even prepared. You don't even want a baby in that moment. But somehow God saw it fit that, listen, my child, here's a baby for you.
I don't know. Oh my God. I feel like
I know it's
I need a warning before, because usually, I mean, babies, you carry them out for 9 months, and within the 9 months is where you prepare yourself, where you prepare your household, you prepare your circumstances, whether it's financially, just to make sure you have a easy or somewhat better, labor, or welcoming into the child into the world, whether it's preparing them through clothing, diapers, the works. I cannot imagine myself having to be in labor, and now I'm told that you have a child, and it was not even something that I even
you
thought
had thought of, nothing that you even had the slightest idea of.
There's no preparation.
No.
I'd lose my mind. I'd be insane.
Exactly. So I, with some cases, because you find that it's even with, it happens to females that even are on the pill, maybe that take contraceptives, either with the injection or, with pills and whatever. And you thinking, but I've been preventing, so how did this happen?
But there has been, I know when it comes to contraceptives, it's a very tricky conversation.
Very.
Because not all of them actually work.
Yes.
And there's been women who had walked into a doctor's hospital and said, you gave me this contraception. You said it would work. Why am I pregnant now?
Exactly.
How do you explain this?
Because I was reading on, I think it was on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, where a lady who had, I'm not sure what is it called, there's like a tube sort of thing, I forgot what it's called, that you use, also sort of like a contraceptive that they basically insert inside of you. Sorry if this is a bit sensitive, guys, but so she had that basically as a contraceptive, and I kid you not, she got pregnant, and the child that she gave birth to, when she gave birth, had the thing on his head. So I'm just like, okay, so if we have all these things that are there to prevent such things, like, how do you can't really, it's not something that you can be like, okay, if I take my, contraceptives daily, or if I, go
On
do my
time
injection
as
or
well.
on time and every month, like as I should, it's in your mind, you're thinking, no, I'm safe, right? You're thinking,
No, you're not.
all is well, I'm safe, I don't have to worry about anything. Only to find that, no, surprise, surprise, there's a little something inside, and now here you are, and now you have to prepare for a little baby.
Listen, if God is going to be dropping some gifts like that, He has to make sure everything else is in order, because I didn't prepare myself for that.
I was getting to that part. So now imagine if it's a situation where it's not maybe someone that you were necessarily involved with. If it's a situation where you found yourself in some sort of vulnerable, situation, and
Or
now
some fun times. You would love to forget.
that you would have loved to forget, and now you're not given the opportunity to forget because there is now this baby. And the thing is, you can imagine how difficult it would be trying to explain to someone that you didn't know you were pregnant up until you gave birth, and this is your child. So you just come to him, you're like, okay, listen, I just gave birth today. I know we haven't spoken for like so and so months, because the last time I saw you was, way back. But however, I just gave birth, and this is definitely your child. So how do you, I mean, you
Number
can
one,
imagine.
I'm sure that person would be very skeptical, because it's like,
They'd be
how
very
do you
skeptical.
come to me
You'd be
once
very
the child
skeptical.
has landed and you're telling me this is mine, because they don't want to do DNA tests to confirm that. And that's one of the things that a lot of women go through, especially when you are involved with someone who is not prepared to be a father.
Exactly.
And where they're now going to make you go through so much just to prove that they are the father of the child that you are carrying, or that you're giving birth to. That already is emotionally taxing. So you can imagine having to go through the shock that okay, I am pregnant, or I have just given birth to a human being.
Exactly.
And this human being does not come just with me, but is attached to a father. Now having to explain to that man that, hi, so you and I are now parents.
Exactly.
And this is the person who we are a parent to. And then now, because of the skepticism that's going to come from him, you're going to have to go through that emotional I'm hoping it's not trauma, because it does tend to get traumatic.
True.
Especially when the person who you're dealing with is not someone who will be easily welcoming of
Exactly.
the pregnancy. So it'll be something where they'll be questioning you and labeling you as well as someone who is promiscuous.
Yep.
Who maybe it's not mine, it could be somebody else. You're choosing me because I am, you know, have these
Exactly.
things, and that's why it's fit that I'm the father.
Exactly. But then, I mean, them themselves were not, you know,
Prepared.
aware. They were not prepared. They were not anticipating anything. And it is, you know, going to be shocking for the next, like the partner, to actually find out that, listen, you have a baby and this is the situation. But then I feel like if you're able to explain it, and I think this is why I chose to speak about this, so just to inform people that this is a thing. It's not something that just, you know,
and it doesn't
that you
happen
talk-
only because I know some our black folks tend to sometimes like, it will not happen to me. Listen,
no.
it does
most
not
of
choose.
no. Most of the stories that I've read on or heard about online are mostly from actually black people, and I'm not trying to make it like a race thing, but I kid you not, it's everyone, guys. Everyone can go
when
through
God
it.
decides.
If God decides that, listen, my child, it's your time, it is your time, and you will have the child. So for me, I feel like what I struggle to get is the part of the contraceptives, because I'm just like, okay, is it that this person maybe was missing the dates or getting them wrong? Or because with some of them, genuinely, like, they even get their period.
Yes,
You
it's
go
on
on your
time.
monthly period, it's on time, it's not late, it just goes on as usual, you know. Literally, life goes on as
The
normal.
system is going as
The system is going as it's planned, but you still have a baby. And it's not to say that the child that you have is gonna, you know, be born with some sort of, you know, complications. No, the child will be 100% healthy. I kid you not, 100% healthy with no complications, no issues whatsoever, and it will be literally almost like a miracle. And to date, from the research that I've done, they're not able to properly explain what happens. How is it possible that people, you know, go through their whole menstruation but are still, you know, pregnant and give birth to a healthy baby? I'm not sure how it happens. So the whole topic itself literally is kind of mysterious, but it is a real thing, and I feel like more people, need to be more aware of it. It's not something that we just watch on TV and we just hear of, that, oh, you know, I watched this movie or this show and this woman didn't know she was pregnant. It's not a movie thing. These people don't just make things up. This is not Spider-Man and Batman. It's a real thing. Like, it's a genuinely real thing.
It's
so
people's lives.
It's people's lives, because some of these stories literally generate from someone's life. Someone who went through this and they told their story, and maybe at first, because maybe they were the first of to experience it, people didn't believe until it happened to more people, and then they became more aware of it. So it hasn't happened to me. I hope it doesn't. But I just thought, let me, you know, enlighten everyone else on the topic, give everyone else, you know, that whole, just to give you information and to inform you that, listen, cryptic pregnancy is a real thing. And I don't know, guys, be safe out there. You know, if you know that you're not,
Even while being safe, though. I mean, think
but if you know that you are not, take extra precautions. I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I don't know what extra precautions you're gonna take, but just try, because it's a thing. Another thing that I feel like I feel like somehow affects this, but also affects another way, or another sort of form of pregnancy, is the whole. Okay, so with contraceptives, right? The idea is that it's meant to prevent. It's there as a form of prevention.
Yes.
Right. So then, my thing is, because I've also read with many, this is now separate from the whole cryptic pregnancy part, right? So I've also read where people who take contraceptives, who then do want to have a baby, and instead they now struggle because now their womb was somehow damaged with the contraceptives, or affected, or fine, maybe they do get pregnant, and then when they give birth, it's stillborn, or the baby doesn't make it. I feel like that's such a sad situation, because you went through the period of taking precaution just so that you don't have a baby, and now because you are ready for it, and then this happens, and you do understand, such a a 50-50 thing.
It is.
So you went through the whole thing
It's actually the opposite of the cryptic pregnancy.
exactly, complete opposite of the cryptic pregnancy.
You were not preparing to have a child, to have a baby.
Exactly.
But on the other end, the woman had decided, I'm no longer going to be going on my contraceptive,
and now I'm ready.
I'm ready to actually have a child, but it's taking much longer. And I've noticed that there's actually an increase in that, because a lot of young women, from a young age, you already deciding that I'm going to take precautions to not fall pregnant. And sometimes using it as well, contraceptives for, to balance out your hormones, because it's also something that helps in that, depending on which kind of contraception.
Yeah.
But then by the time you decide to say, okay, I'm ready to be a mother, to be a parent, it's much longer than it would be for someone else.
True. So I don't know. I feel like these things are really tricky, and if you look at most cases of people that were cryptic pregnant, I don't know if that's the right terminology to use for it, it's always people, like I said, that were not anticipating it. And then for people who give birth to a stillborn baby, are people that were really,
Really
prepared and really wanted to have a baby, and instead, they now give birth to a stillborn, or they get miscarriages all the time, or they're just not able to get pregnant. So it's really such a tricky thing, and I feel like, hey, females go through a lot. Females go through a lot, because I mean, you can imagine you going about your life, your day-to-day life, and you thinking that you're fine and that everything is well, and then later on in that very same day, you went to work in the morning, you got up, everything was fine, you had your breakfast,
but when
your coffee, everything,
going home,
and then later on, when you should be getting yourself ready to leave the office or leave work, now you find yourself feeling ill, and now they're having to call like the ambulance or paramedic to come and assist, because they're thinking something happened. Maybe it's food poisoning or something you ate that you maybe didn't know you're allergic to, and you're having some sort of weird reaction to it, only to find
that you are getting a bundle of joy.
A bundle of joy.
A bundle of joy.
A
surprise bundle of joy.
Right? It's crazy. It's really crazy.
With a grand entrance.
With a whole grand entrance. Because now imagine your family doesn't know, and think of it in a sense where, if you come from a strict family household, a strict family household who, God forbid, your dad even thinks you are still a virgin, and now you're gonna come home with the news that,
how do you break it to them?
How do you break that? Forget the partner, we'll deal with that one. That's like the last
at the
this is now, you need to go back home.
How are you going to sit down?
Because the hospital is probably going to call your next of kin. That's the first thing. And your next of kin is always your parents or your sibling, right? Who is obviously going to tell everyone else, because they're also in shock and like, no, but this can't be right. Or they've been thinking maybe some weird prank that you're doing on them, and then they're going to get there and only discover that
you want to prank.
It's not a prank.
Way.
Yeah,
that's not a prank you want to do.
That is not a prank you want to do.
If it does come true, they will not believe you on that day.
They won't.
They'll be like, you've done this before.
They'll be like, you've done this before.
We know how this works.
We know how this works.
Let us know once you get home.
Exactly.
And then the hours go by and you're not coming home.
Instead, you come back home maybe 2 days later or a day later, and you come back with the actual baby. And it's like, so you weren't joking. But I mean, I was just saying, for like the people that come from strict family households, having to explain to your dad, who's, let's say he's even a priest at a church, and everyone knows you as the church girl, and we thinking that, no, so and so would never do that. Come on, she's a child of a priest, they always at church every day. She's well behaved, she dresses well, she goes to Bible study, youth study, whatever, all the time, only to find that babes is expecting, and she didn't even know. I mean, it's great in the sense that no one is going to suspect anything, but then once it's there, you can't hide it.
There's no reversing it.
And you can't hide it, because now you have the baby and the baby's there.
I like to say there's no receipt, so you can't return.
There's no back to sender. It doesn't work like that. You have this child, it's there, it's something you need to look into and Yeah, no.
It
I
is
can't.
very
I honestly would not wish this on my worst enemy.
Let's just
I
paint
would
a scenario.
never. Mhm.
You are going to work early shift,
Yeah.
right? You usually get to work around 6.
So yeah, I usually get to
6
work
o'clock
around
in the
6
morning.
and then leave at 3. Yeah.
So you're going about with your day. You're already preparing yourself. When I knock off in the afternoon, I'm gonna go run a few errands. Then I'm gonna, check on my mom. What does she need?
Yeah.
And then when I head back home, they're expecting me home.
Probably 5ish, 6ish,
early in the
depending.
evening.
Yeah.
And that's how your day goes. But things change around lunchtime. How do you feel in that moment? You're not aware that you are
That's
cryptic pregnancy is happening to you. It's you.
I mean,
The
honestly,
emotions.
the emotions for me, because I know I usually take time to process things. I will literally go into like a shock where I'm quiet. I'm not crying. I'm not screaming. I'm just quiet. I'm just quiet, processing everything, not talking to anyone as yet, because I need to understand it first for me before I can, relay the story to the next person. So I literally, and that's how I normally process things. I go quiet before I say anything. I'll just be on this weird, awkward, quiet vibe. I'm not mad. I'm not sad. I'm not nothing. I'm just quiet. This is literally how then once I've processed it, once it's like properly like kicked in, that's where I'll be like, okay,
once it's kicked in is once you hold that child in your arms.
Exactly. Because then it's like, wait, guys, this is it. Like, this is my situation right now. And babies are a permanent thing, hey? It's not like a now thing or for now or in the time being. No, this is for life.
It's a forever.
Like a for life or for real type of thing. So, I mean, it could... no. I mean, touch wood, guys. I'm good with that. I do not wish that. This is why, celibacy, guys. Practice celibacy. Honestly, if you know that you don't want a little bundle of joy that's going to come as a surprise
Mama
or
Mary was
anything.
practicing celibacy.
No, this is not Jesus times.
I'm just saying, though.
This is not Jesus times. Listen, no.
Mama
those
Mary
times
was
are way.
being
This
that
is not.
woman.
This is we are not in our. This is not your biblical times with Jesus and the whole miracle and no, those past, those times are way past. So you're Mary and all of that. No, I mean her herself. There's a Instagram page that I follow that does like sort of Bible story videos, just like different scenarios of it and how they like the prophets would react to certain things.
Yes.
So she has a video of how Mary is explaining to Joseph that she has a baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I've seen that circulating. Yeah.
And I'm like, so he comes to Mary. This is not after she already gave birth, and he's like, I made you something. No, he says I baked you something, and then she's like, oh, thank you, but how did you bake it? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, we don't have an oven. He's like, exactly. Do you see what I mean?
So that will be the reaction of the man who finds out when you tell him that I had a cryptic pregnancy and this child is now here.
And it's worse if it's not someone that you were like constantly communicating with, someone you just met. Well, now you trying to locate, if you're even able to find this person, to tell them that, listen, I have a baby and it's yours. Like, we have a baby together.
We get excitement. I know during the festive there's a lot of hanging out, and there's a lot of activity, and we do a lot of things, and no judgment, but it does happen.
It does.
And now having to locate that guy that you had contact or you had just met, you don't know where they're coming from, which direction they're going, what their genetics are like. So you're already carrying something of his, and you don't even know what the genetic holds.
For all you know, he doesn't even live in the country, ma'am. He came here on holiday. And his home is like Germany or Switzerland, and when now you are carrying his
he's from Lekki, like in Nigeria, from Lekki State,
or anywhere in the world. Maybe literally, I feel like there would be an even worse case scenario of it, that this is someone that's not even from the country, and you guys didn't even bother trying to exchange not even an Instagram handle. Forget phone numbers, not even an Instagram handle.
All you have is the first name,
and all you have is just the
names
first name.
Quite popular.
They're quite popular. I kid you not, you can go search for my name on Instagram, try finding Yasmin. You're not going to find There's a lot of us, and there's different ways to spell it. There's another thing. You can have someone's name and you don't have the spelling correct, the correct spelling of that person's name. That
parent decided, I'm going to be different. For example, like I had recently met an individual and his name is Olivier. It's a French version of Oliver.
Yeah.
So I could introduce myself as Oliver to you, but my name is Olivier.
Exactly.
So how are you going to find me?
Because you are searching for Oliver, you're not searching for Olivier.
Because when he introduced himself, he said, "Hi, madam, my name is Oliver."
Exactly.
And you are taken away, and in one night, that changed the rest of your life.
It changed the...
And 9 months later, you found out that you were actually pregnant.
I mean, because some people, you know, when they go out, they take videos and stuff like that. If you are really desperate to find the father of this cryptic baby, you know, I'm going to call them cryptic babies. I mean, you can, if you took videos and stuff of the day that you guys met and maybe you were like out having, you know, fun or whatever, that could be your way of trying to find him, I guess. Because you could use that video, post it on social media. I mean, people know
or you
people.
could just get onto Kumbuleka and be like, on that missing person segment and be like, we have a child.
Oh my
I'm
word.
trying to find the father. Here are the videos and images of the night we were hanging out.
I mean, because you could do it either way. You could do it. I think TikTok is a broad.
It's quite big. Yes.
It's big. It's, you know, everywhere. It's not just, you know, it's
But
just
the time you're trying to find this person, this baby is growing.
No, the baby will
They
grow.
have needs.
But eventually, that unfortunately you have to take care of, my love, because you can't really wait till you find the dad
Actually
to actually start
resume
taking
your
care of your child.
responsibilities,
Because you
yeah.
also need to think of the fact that, listen, this is an innocent baby.
I had no idea.
They had no idea of your whereabouts when they were created, how they were created, why they were created. None of that. This child literally is innocent. So you can't sort of, you know, mistreat the baby because you were not prepared for it. Once you are there giving birth in labor, once that baby is out, you better be planning, budgeting. Your salary needs to be like, okay, I'm taking 3,000 so that I can do, you know, you're breaking it down now. You're like, okay, diapers, formula, you know, clothes.
Your medical aid, if you had cancer.
You are going to add that baby. You are not going to cancel. You are now going to add someone onto it just to you know that it's there and you covered. Because you can't really, you know, have the baby struggling because you're not, you know, prepared for the whole baby and everything. So fine, go look for the baby, the father of the baby. But in the time being, you need to still make sure that the baby's needs are being met. You can't be, you know, just out here trying to find the baby's father and then you just neglecting the child. Or I know some of you, and I think most females have this tendency where you'll decide that the baby is now going to be looked after by the grandparents. And then you'll just leave the baby in the grandparents' hands. And this child literally grows up thinking my grandmother is my mother, type of thing. Because you were not really there. You come by visiting, if you do sometimes. And maybe you send money just to like, oh, okay, they're like,
expenses.
you know, the baby needs diapers and whatever. Here you go. I understand the situation is tricky, yes.
It is.
But also, it takes two to tango.
True.
And as long as you are not, you know, forced into any type of situation and you did what you did willingly for that baby to come about, you can't, you know, just
cannot
neglect
shift
your
it.
responsibilities
Yes.
or shift it onto someone else, because it would be unfair to that person. I mean,
Yes.
you yourself were not prepared for it. How do you expect now your parents to, you know, take care and just be prepared for it? Just because they took care of you and raised you doesn't mean that now
They can
the-
also assume the responsibility.
exactly,
That's
they're not
true.
just meant to just, you know, assume the responsibility of that baby. It's unfair on their end.
I just wonder though, how many kids are aware that they were actually a cryptic baby?
Personally,
How would you? Because I would, as a mother, as a parent, you would go through the emotions at the beginning. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. I didn't know. Or I've just given birth to a baby that I was not prepared for. And then you have time. Eventually, you adjust, and then you become a mother, and that
yeah, like
becomes your
those that
life.
even do like scans, and then they
Yes.
keep the scans so you can show the baby once they grow, and be like, oh look,
You have
a little,
none
you know,
of that. You don't
little
have the
bean.
pregnancy test. You don't have the scans when you go for the
Nothing.
doctor's appointment. You don't have the pictures
Nothing.
from the baby shower.
Nope.
So you have nothing to say that this is. So once you have, because from the parent's perspective, I've given birth and now I'm a mother, and now this is my new responsibility and this is my life. I go about it with it. But do you as a baby or do you as a child ever get to know?
I mean,
that
that's
you
the
were
parent's
a
job, though.
Would you?
Personally, I feel like if you are going to let the baby know that they were not a planned baby, you need to be very careful in how you word it. You need to be extra careful in how you word it, because that could really hurt that baby. That baby's always, the minute you do something wrong or you treat that baby foul, they're going to be like, yeah, but you never wanted me anyways. Yep. Do you understand? It's always going to be that same topic of, yeah, but you never really wanted me in the first place. So they're always going to look at you like, anyways, you don't love me, I was just there, and
they'll use it as a weapon
it's always going to be a weapon every single time. I personally would feel like rather don't mention it.
Okay.
I personally feel like, because you never know how the next person, and this is your child now, how they're going to perceive what you're saying to them. So the last thing you want is where you're telling them, but even though you tried to word it well, they still took it the wrong way, you know, because your intent was good, but then how they perceived it is the opposite. So now they're just looking at it, oh, so I wasn't a planned baby, I just happened, and now I'm here. And then it's going to be worse if the father didn't take responsibility and you're a single mom. So it's going to be like, oh, so my dad didn't want me. Or it's going to be like, also, do you not know who my dad is, or you can't find him? Do you understand the questions
the idea come up with it? They had, like, you know, the perception they had of you as a mother, parent, once they find out that, okay, I was a cryptic baby, but you do not know who my father is.
Exactly.
So you, back in your time.
Exactly.
It's not something, when the person actually does find out, not something that you can easily laugh about immediately. It takes time. And that means it's going to take years, because the child's going to eventually become an adult and understand that these things happen, because they gain understanding. And then it can be something made light about. But for once they're going through that part where they're having mood swings and attitudes, and they're calling you out on things, and they're misbehaving and they're going to keep using it as a weapon constantly.
Always. And that's just going to tarnish the parent-child relationship completely. So I personally would not tell them. I feel like rather not. Because anything you do wrong with the child is always going to come up, and they're always going to, you know, bring it back and be like, yeah, but Vele, you know, this is, you know, like that. Rather not. Because think of it in the sense of people that got pregnant through rape. Think of it in that sense. So it's a similar thing where you telling a child that, yo, listen, actually, you're a product of rape. Do you see? So it's not something that you really want to be talking to your child about, or to tell them. Honestly, certain things are better left unsaid. Please, that line, please remember it. Certain things are better left unsaid.
I think it depends. I think if I was, no, but not to say, touch wood, there's no cryptic pregnancy coming along my way. But I think if I were to be in a position where I do become a mom and I find out during labor or months later, and that's what's, you know, my destiny, you cannot fight it, but I would want to be able to have the conversation with my child, and I want to make it something where they don't think it's such a heavy thing.
True. You make light of the situation.
It seem like it's such a big bad thing.
Make light of the situation. Yeah,
it's something that it happens, and you were one of the ones who came into the world in that way. I had no idea, but also to teach them that as much as we plan as human beings and prepare ourselves for certain situations, like, this is where I'm going, this is what I want in a few years in time. At the end of the day, God is the ultimate planner here. If he decided that you're going to be the crypto baby,
that's it. You are the crypto baby. You're the cryptic baby. That's it. That's your vibe.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's literally that type of situation. So it's I mean,
it's scary.
It's scary. It's really scary, especially because some women sometimes do sort of have the idea that they might be pregnant, and they go for tests, they go for scans. Doctor can't see anything. Test comes back negative. Everything is saying you are not pregnant. Few months later, bam, you're giving birth.
Because you would start off with a home pregnancy test.
Yeah, you start off with a home pregnancy test.
You know, if you have those doubts, because I feel like as women, especially when
we get paranoid.
You get paranoid.
You get paranoid. You start overthinking things.
And you're like, okay, my period came on time. Whew, the bullet.
Exactly.
Whew,
but then
another one.
Your period, and for some of them, so it's not necessarily to say that you don't get what's this, pregnancy symptoms as a whole. Maybe you get headaches, or maybe you, like, you know, your appetite is a bit funny,
and sometimes we don't
like
even
that.
Appetite is something we don't even take into say, okay, whoa, maybe my something is odd, because all you're just feeding is your cravings, and you're
That's
thinking,
it. You just think,
I'm just going through something.
you know,
probably
it's
the
just one of
stress.
those things. It's just the
probably
stress.
work. It's something
work.
you're given it a reason behind why your diet all of a sudden has changed. You're not actually paying attention to be like,
Exactly.
hey Halima, so you had 3 burgers this morning. Did you notice? You don't even ask yourself that.
Not
Like,
even.
I don't like tomatoes anymore.
Exactly.
I don't like the
Or
acidity.
pickles. I used to love pickles, but now I take
don't
them
like-
out from the burger.
Oh, my
Why?
favorite fragrance is no longer my favorite fragrance.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
of those things you
kinda make-
and I feel like you just sort of pass it over your head. It's just like
Yes.
it's not that deep, it's not that serious. You just continue,
That's
because
how you
also
carry it through.
because you know how with your period sometimes some females get like cravings or whatever, so you're thinking it's one of those things. Then it comes and you're thinking that's why
You've been working out.
You've
You
been
still have
working
that
out, you
slim
still
waist
have
gang.
everything. Literally, your waist does not show. You're not gaining weight. Not a single pimple, maybe of like a breakout of some sort, or your nose getting big, like how most people,
That
when they're
I
pregnant.
would not wish that upon my. No,
It's the worst. It's the
I've
absolute
seen
worst.
images on the interweb.
If there's anything that literally terrifies me about pregnancy,
It's the change on your
it's the change.
face.
So, in as much as your cryptic pregnancy is bad,
You dodge quite a few
you
bullets.
dodge a lot of bullets because you don't look like a oompa loompa at the end of the day.
Why are you calling it Oompa Loompa? That's
Okay, no,
not
I'm
nice.
sorry, but
You're not changing your facial recognition.
true. You still look like you still body, face, everything is
Yeah.
still the person that you know, which is scary, but it's nice too because
you dodge the weight gain, which is something I know a lot of women
The
are
feet
concerned
swelling.
about. I don't want the weight gain. I don't want the nose changing.
the nose
I don't want my
changing.
face to change.
Exactly.
I want us to look hella cute.
Exactly.
I want to look so nice.
And that whole dark neck thing also that happens.
yes.
The feet swelling,
Oh,
all of that
yes.
stuff. I mean, in as much as you dodge all of those things, but also I'm just like,
It could be a good, maybe you could pray about it.
But yeah.
Like, give me the cryptic pregnancy so I can look nice for 9 months and present the
No,
world.
I
with
don't
my
want
baby.
that. I'm okay. I'm like, listen, God, rather because I know it's not like a permanent thing where I'm gonna look like that all the time. It's just for when I'm pregnant. So I'd rather
9 months is a long time.
I'd rather
my
you
dear.
tell me. Don't give me the surprise, baby.
No,
Listen,
but 9 months is a long time, honestly, because remember the changes happen to your body. You get, let me say, you are more aware of your changes from the first 3 months of the pregnancy. So that's when you get to see that your body's changing,
Yeah.
because now you are going through it. So it's a lot. So I would take it. I mean, if
Yeah.
you were to take choose one pill, which one would you choose? Cryptic pregnancy or the one where you are aware and prepared for?
for me, I'm gonna just leave it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not picking anything. You guys can decide what you want. The listeners, y'all can decide which one you prefer. I'm not picking anything. I'm not trying to manifest anything into it. So yeah. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me for today.
It was lovely.
This is a wrap for today's show. I really hope everyone else is more informed about this.
Yes.
And that you'll take it in consideration, especially your female listeners out there. I hope.
And the male
you'll have more-
listeners too.
And the male listeners, please, guys, when she says that it's your child, don't become too defensive and, want to attack
And be
before
aware of the
understanding.
emotional part as
Be
well.
aware of the emotional part as well. Try and be sensitive towards the situation and, take light into it. Don't just, come in hard and not wanting to accept the situation. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming through. And thank you guys for having me. I know you're probably expecting chill with many, but I do hope you'll enjoy today's segment and having me here. Probably you'll see me again in the future because I'm here quite often. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy today's show. It was really lovely to have the yes take over for today. I really hope I get to do it again. So yeah, that's it from our side. I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday, and to all our brothers and sisters that are fasting, I hope it's an easy one and that you guys don't have
strong.
it tough. Just be strong, take it day by day. Don't do too much. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a lovely one.